What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ziggy for another Black Beacon video, and today we're going to go over ancient marks. Now, ancient marks are basically gear in this game and very important for taking your character to the next level for endgame content. Now, if you've seen my Tome of Fate video, then you will know that Tome of Fate is how you get currency to buy ancient marks. You can also unlock some ancient marks by completing certain levels. Like for level 1, you get this ancient mark. These are usually threes. These are 3 parts. You'll get this ancient mark, and then for this one you get this ancient mark. Now, when you complete a Tome of Fate level or stage, you get these what's this, like Chest of Fate. Now, with the Chest of Fate, you can use up to 5. I believe you get 5 for every completion. And then you can use your stamina, which is 200. I believe each one is, let's see, each one is, don't make me do math. Each one is 40. So with 5, you can get 5 of them, right? And with those 5, I'm going to get 750 Seal of Fate and 3 of these winding paths. Now, with that currency, I could go into the store. Okay? It take me to the main menu. That was weird. I could go to the store, and then in the store is where I could buy ancient marks. Now, each, like they come in parts of 10, 5, 3, and then 1. The 10 marks are worth 300. The 5 marks are worth 160. The 3 marks are worth 100. And the 1 marks are worth 35. Now, the reason is that you have 29 spots. Let's look at some characters. So, Lychee is a character that I'm starting to build. You have 29 spots that you could fill up here, right? So say if you could get, so math wise, why you guys make me do math, depending on how the pieces fit, you could get 2 10s, right? So I'll go to one of my characters, Florence. She's fully set. She has 2 10s, right? That's 20. And then 3, 23, 26, 29. That's how I built her. Now, that's not always. You could have a 10, 5, 5, 10, 5, 5, 3, 3, or you could do that. There's other ways you could, mess around. Like, obviously, the game just came out, so people are still messing around and figure out the best way to do things. Now, one of the most important things is, how are you going to build your character? And I have made some mistakes. This is why I'm doing this video, so hopefully you don't make the same mistakes I made. So I'm going to use Florence, for example. I made the mistake of giving her crit rate and crit damage. That is not how you should build this character. I'll do a deeper video on her building, but the truth of the matter is you should build her focusing on pierce, fire damage, and attack. Because even though I got in crit rate on basically every single piece I could get crit rate on, and you can't, it's not getting higher. I'm only at, what am I at? 51.4% crit rate. That is trash. That's not good. It's much better to put pierce into her than crit rate. But that's just something, keep that in mind when you're building your character. Now, the good thing about this game is that you don't have to grind hard for substats. It's not like other games where you're repeatedly grinding gear to get a random substat, and then you'll get maybe if you're a character and you need HP, you'll get 3 crits and you're like, shit, I can't use this gear for this character. That's not how it works in this game. The way it works in this game, and I'll show you, is the pieces you merge, right? To level up a piece, you need to merge it with the same piece. You gain its substats. So for instance, right, this has fire damage boost, 3.3%. This has crit hit rate, 4.8%. And this has defense. Now, if I was to take this fire damage, right, and then add it with this crit hit rate, select it, see I'm upgrading, right? It's going blue to purple. Its rarity is going up. It will gain the crit hit rate. So you're gonna have fire damage boost and crit hit rate. And it's the same thing here. If I was to take this off and replace it with this new piece will get fire damage boost and defense. So the only randomness from it and like RNG is when you buy the piece, and if the piece is gonna give you, I'm going to the wrong place. I'm going to the whale store. No, we're not going to the whale store. Um, if the piece, so if I buy this piece right here, right, I don't know, right, I'm gonna get, when this ancient mark is obtained, when this ancient mark is obtained, a random attribute will be generated. That's the only RNG, is when you initially buy the piece. But say if I buy three of these pieces, which I can, right? I have enough currency, and all three of them give me the substats I want, right? They're all different substats, right? One is fire damage, one is crit rate, one is crit damage. I just had to merge those three, and I will have crit rate, fire damage, and crit damage. And that's what makes it like really good and less of a grind. Now, now we don't know exactly, like a lot of the information about ancient marks is from the beta, and from my understanding, a lot of things from the beta were changed around, so we don't know exactly like which piece has which. But from my understanding, right, these 10 pieces, they get attack, defense, HP, crit rate, crit damage, pierce, elemental damage, and elemental anomaly. That's the pieces, like not all, like the point I'm trying to make is not all the pieces, like 10 pieces have their own substats. Um some of these have different substats. Not all of these have the same substat, right? So like 10 pieces have different substats you could get, or how much they don't have. All right, let me rephrase that. They don't have different substats, but they only have certain percentages that you could get. So for instance, right, a 10 piece, its attack can only go up to 15%, while for uh let's say a 5 piece, its attack can only go up to 6%. And so that's the way they, like, they differentiate. Um, so you're gonna have to want to, like, to learn to mix and match. Like I said, I made the mistake, right? Because me coming from other games, I made a mistake. Oh, main DPS, crit damage, and that should be what you focus on. And no, for, like I said, for Florence, you want attack, pierce, and fire damage. Getting her crit rate doesn't mean anything because you're only gonna settle at like 51.4%, and 51.4% is trash. That's garbage. That's nothing. So you're better off pinning these ratios into pierce, attack, and fire damage. See how I only have 3.3% fire damage? That's a no-no. I have to change that. So in this video, but let's talk about why I chose the pieces I chose for her. So for the pieces I chose for her, I chose um Endless March, right? And the reason I chose Endless March is each time the weirder consumes vigor, they gain, which is this stamina. They gain 3.5 pierce for 5 seconds, stacking up 5 times. So mainly when you use Florence, you're gonna be using, oh well, any unit really, but obviously you're gonna be using their skills. You're gonna be using their skills a lot to drain her stamina, especially when you switch in after using zero, getting the getting an attack boost from zero, switching in, and you're gonna go gun ho using falling petals or flower dance, right? This is gonna stack her pierce up. That's why I chose Endless March. Now for this right here, now another thing you want to take note of is, let's go to the store real quick. Some pieces don't stack. And when I say some pieces don't stack, I'll show you, right? So this is not a good example. This is not a good example. I'm trying to find one that doesn't stack. Come on. Can I get one that doesn't stack? Okay, cool. Right here, right? So this 5 piece, grant the weirder. weirder. Why am I saying that weird? I get super tongue tied when I speak on the mic, guys. Grant the owner a 72% increase in chase damage. Effect of the same type do not stack, right? So if you put two of these, you're not gonna stack. Like they're not gonna stack. You're only gonna get that one effect. That's why you shouldn't. You should get. You should try to get two five pieces, like two different five pieces, because they can't stack. Now 10 pieces, that's a different story. Um, if I wanted two endless march, these stack because it didn't say. I mean, I don't have the statistic or the numbers to say, but I'm going based on the fact that they tell you if they don't stack that this stacks. So if you put two, uh, excuse me, I just burped. That's mad fucking rude. Um, if you put two endless march, they do stack, right? If you have two locked flood dragons, they are gonna stack. I think um so keep that in mind when you're doing your builds. I think it's the same thing for three pieces. Do they stack? Okay, three pieces don't have effect. So if you get a three piece, they don't have an effect. Only ones that have effect are five pieces and 10 pieces. Three pieces have no effect. I'm pretty sure all 10 pieces stack. Yeah, so they could stack. So if you want like I said, I built my Florence bad, right? Like not bad. Like it's not she's not complete trash, but my build could be way better. Hence why I'm making, I guess, guide or overview or just a talking point, really, right? Um, I separate, right? I put locked flood dragon because increase damage on the next basic attack by 12% within 3 seconds after the owner's skills hit an enemy. So that's not like literally bad. But if I'm gonna focus on pierce damage for her, it's actually much better if I have another endless march rather than having a locked flood dragon. And that's the mistake that I don't want you guys to make, right? I don't want you guys to build your characters wrong because the truth of the matter is I'm spending money on the game. I'm a whale. So me building the character wrong, guess what? I'll just rebuild the character and it'll be nothing to me. But some of you guys, you have limited resources, limited stamina. You can't just be out here, spending willy-nilly. So you wanna make sure you build your character right so you can just progress through the story with no problems. Now, um even like the merging, I had no idea that's how mergers work, right? So but another thing you could do, while you can only get it through the battle pass, and let me see, this will be a better picture to show you guys if I could find it. No, I can't find it. No, this will be a better picture because it's blinked out. If I go to the store, yada yada, this right here is called a re-craving carving. I'm so tongue tied when I go on the mic. Sorry, it's just like a thing. Recarving blade. Now, recarving blade. This allows you to change the substat of anything you want. So, for instance, right, it says I have two of them. I don't know where I got two. I thought I used them all up, but hey, good for me, right? If I go in here and I said, right, I don't want crit hit rate and crit damage. That shit is ass for this character. So I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna replace this with pierce damage. Now I have two. You need three. I believe for 10 pieces you need three. If you want to use it on a three piece, I believe you could use one. Let me see real quick. Pierce. Yeah. So for a 10 piece you need three. For three pieces you need one. And I don't see the point of using a recarved on a one piece. You might as well just buy another one until you get the stat you want. Um, so take note of that. Now, the only ways that I know to unlock that is through the battle pass. So, like I said, the only randomness when it comes to your substats is buying the pieces, right? You're gonna come in here, you're gonna do Tome of Fate, right? You're gonna beat it. Beating one floor gives you five of these, right? And you could use up to five, right? And then for each one is 40 stamina. It's gonna be like 200 stamina. You could do that in a day, right? That's like a day worth of stamina, right? Go in and then buy your pieces. Go in here, buy your pieces, and hopefully they give you the substat you want. But there's not a ton of substats. It's not a grind. The whole point I'm trying to make is I'm not saying that like it won't take you time. It'll probably take some time, but there's no reason why like I feel like in other gacha games, I'm gonna use like Honkai Star Rail. I feel like you could spend a whole month as a free to play player grinding out gear for your character, like a whole month doing it. While in this game, I don't believe it'll take you a whole month just to grind out the perfect substats for your character. I feel like once you I feel like it might take you a week. If you're super lucky, it'll probably take like when I built Florence, I built her the wrong way, but it took me like 2 hours to build her. I got super lucky on the substats I want. Now that I know better, now I'm gonna have to go in there and redo her character. Hence why I haven't done a showcase or a build video for her yet. Now I could change some things. But it's not that hard to grind. It's not that much of a grind like when you compare it to other gacha games. That's like another plus when it comes to this game, that the grind for gear isn't crazy. But yeah, that's just kind of like what I want to talk about when it comes to ancient marks. Um, like go overall real quick. Go in here, do Toma Fate every time you do. Also, there are missions that refresh every Monday, like quests. So you could get even more of the Seal of Fate, right? This refreshes every Monday that it says, right? Let me see. Yeah, resets on a Monday, right? So you go in there, you beat Toma Fate, you get the currency, you go to the store, you buy. Now, obviously, as the game goes on, and I'll make videos on every character and how their build should be. But like I said, the game's been out for 4 days, so like people people are telling you like, oh, this is the tier list and this character is better than this character, is like, it's bullshit. Because even if you base the tier list on how the play testers were, they changed a lot of stuff. So like I seen a tier list the other day where it said, oh, Lychee is better than Florence. He's the number one DPS in the game. And maybe he is, but how the hell do you know that? Like, have you? There's no way you've gone through all the content repeatedly. Now, I guess you could do the numbers, right, from the numbers, but I don't base a character on if they're the best based on the how high their attack stat in the numbers. Because at the end of the day, you need to sit there and you need to play the game, and that's like the feel of the game will let you decide which character is best to use when. So get a feel for your characters. Like I said, I need to redo my my Florence because I fucked her build all up. Once I redo that, I will do a build video on her. But quickly, if you're wondering how you should build her, it should be Pierce, attack, and fire based damage. Do not pick crit rate and crit damage on her. It's worthless on her. Her crit rate and her crit damage doesn't go up. And if you ask me which 5 piece, um, I always mess with the store. Which 5 piece you should give her? Not you. I mean, you. This is not bad, right? Increase damage on the next basic attack by 72%. That's not terrible, but honestly, if it like pierces her main way of like chipping up damage, you should pick 2 Endless March, right? And on that, you should try to get pierce damage, fire, and attack. Those are the substats you're looking for on every single piece. But hopefully this video was helpful. I mean, I know it's not like a well constructed guide video, but it's just me talking about things that I know in the game, and hopefully you don't make the same mistakes I did. I want to make sure I showed you my mistakes so you learn from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes I did. Because, like I said, I'm spending money on the game. Some of you guys are free to play. So, I want you guys to enjoy the game because I'm enjoying the game. The more people who are enjoying the game, the more the game lasts, the better updates, more characters, etc. And free to play players are the backbone of every gacha game. So, hopefully, you guys don't make the same mistake I made. Like I said, it's not gonna take you weeks and weeks to grind gear for your character. It shouldn't take that long. Maybe you have to use a day's worth of stamina, but still, you should be able to at least get the character you want, to where you want them in their build, and then you could do end game content. But that's gonna be the video, guys. It's your boy Ziggy. Peace, deuces, all above. Real quick, this is a real quick edit I'm doing. I just found something else I didn't know. Yo, this game is, yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you, this game is a shit. So remember how I said that in the video that I messed up my Florence and I'm gonna retool her, rebuild her. So I'm going in here. I'm like, I'm a little lazy. I don't feel like doing Tome of Fate. I'm just gonna see if I could disassemble one of her gold pieces and then how much currency I get from that. So I go in there to disassemble, right? Because I have this piece right here as attack, crit rate, and crit damage. I don't want crit. I don't want the hit rate, and I don't want the damage. So I go to disassemble, like the Avengers. Um, I'm corny. Don't worry about it. So I go in there, right, and then I find her piece, and I select this, and guess what? It just gives me the pieces back. Are you serious, yo, shout out to this game, bro. Like shout out, like I'm finding more and more reasons to love this game. It's such like it is just such a it's such a like it's so like compared to gacha games now where I feel like it be stressing me out. Like nothing in this game is stressing me out, bro. Like I love it so far. I love it. But yeah, quick edit. I wanted to put this in the video because this is very important. Just in case you're already made the mistakes I did. Hopefully you did it. Yeah. Peace, deuces, all above.